G'day YouTube, it's Turbo Tristan here, and today we're going to be doing a review and a walk around with Joey's Nissan Stagea 260 RS Autech. So stay tuned because these are a very, very interesting car.
I'm Joe, and this is my Nissan Stagea 260 RS Autech version. It's a 1997 model, so it's a Series 1 in pearl white. I'm an apprentice mechanic. I drive a Honda by day and Nissan by the weekend. So,
tell us, for all those people that don't know, what is a Stagea Autech 260 RS? What's all those numbers mean?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a mouthful, but basically this was a RS4S Stagea, and Autech in Japan took it into their factory and gave it an overhaul, and they put in full R33 GDR driveline, so engine, transmission, drive shafts. It's got the R33 Brembo brakes, all that sort of stuff. They also gave it a very 90s style body kit, which is I'm personally a big fan of. What
about the driveline? So it's an all-wheel drive. Basically everything underneath the shell of the car is an R33 GDR, is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of underneath the car, engine bay, driveline, it is R33 GDR through and through. Since I've owned the car, I have not done a whole lot to it thus yet. It's more so just been fixing a few little niggly issues. Had to do some brake pads. Had to fix a rocker cover gasket leak, which is pretty common from these. Really like the music, so I put a bit of a sound system in it and that sort of stuff. So apart from that, I haven't really done much. It's pretty much how I bought it.
And these make the infamous 206 kilowatts, which is the gentleman's agreement, but we all know they're a lot more powerful than that. You've got some mods planned in the future.
Plans are pretty straightforward. Like I said, reliability is sort of my #1 concern. So the Autech with the engine protection. In terms of power, it's just going to have some cams, some head studs, low mount twins that have been high flowed. It'll run flex fuel, so we'll shoot for anywhere between 300 and 350 kilowatts.
The beauty of running E85, I know in my 33 GDR, driving from one servo to the next and putting in E85, I picked up 80 kilowatts at the wheels. So it's a big thing. Obviously the Autech, you know, changes the boost, changes the timing, all the ignition and stuff. Once it senses that there's E85 in there, and it's a game changer. So
yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things, you know, everyone that I've spoken to can't recommend it enough, and you can't beat them, join them.
So you're going to obviously then upgrade the injectors and a whole bunch of sensors?
Yeah, so I've got some Bosch 1000cc injectors, so suitable for E85. I've already got those, so they're just waiting to go in at some stage. In tank, I've just put a Walbro 460 E85 compatible pump, and then just Raceworks 5/16 E85 line throughout.
Beautiful. Sounds like my Honda Civic.
Yeah.
Same mods. So you're going to get rid of those airflow meters, or you're going to leave them there and just disconnect them?
Absolutely. So with the Autech, they come with I've got a plug and play. They come with a built-in 22 PSI map sensor. So absolutely going to take full use of that. I'm going to leave the airflow meters there unplugged and build a box to cover the intakes. Idea is to make the engine bay look as stock as possible without having airflow meter issues and not being able to run too much power because of it.
Did you buy this car from an importer, or did you buy it privately?
I bought this from an importer, one I've used a couple of times now.
Everybody's talking about it at the moment. It's one of the big topics for 90s JDM cars, 90s performance cars, just in general. Doesn't matter whether JDM or not, the value is going up and up and up, and it's crazy. Do you think it's due to COVID? Do you think it's due to the rarity of the cars, or why do you think that is?
My personal belief is just that these cars have always been very sought after, and now there's so much information out there around all these 90s Japanese cars. I think, you know, a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon. I definitely personally think that COVID has been a large reason why just sort of in the last 6 months prices have gone up. I bought this 12 months ago, and you know, there's some examples selling for $15,000 more than what I paid.
So if you don't mind, and it's totally up to you, but what did you pick this up for?
roughly about 12 months ago, I picked this example up with 200,000 Ks for 22,000 Australian dollars.
And you would estimate that's probably closer to 40-ish grand, roughly in round numbers now?
Yeah, so examples in this condition would sell easily for 30 to 35, better condition 40 plus.
What do you think about people paying 70, 80, 90 grand for a GTR, which is basically half of what this car is? It doesn't have as many doors, it doesn't have the space, it's not as comfortable, but they're paying 3 and 4 times more.
Look, like I said, in my eyes, this will never be a GTR. It's the closest thing you can get to it without buying one and without the price tag. I think at the end of the day, if that's what you want, go for it. If you've got the money to spare, why not? But for me, like I said, I quite often haul tools around and, you know, toolboxes for work and car parts and all that sort of stuff. So the extra room for me just makes sense.
Yep, more comfortable place to be in.
You know, I can have, you know, 4 mates in the car, no worries. You know, going out on the weekend, whatever it may be, and load it up, and, you know, we can have some fun while we're doing it.
So this is the bit that is going to be, you know, sometimes shocking or unique to some people, is all of this performance in a station wagon or an estate, some people call them overseas.
Estate car, station wagon, same.
So tell us about what goes on here, practicality wise, and there's a couple of like weird things I've never seen before, so could you tell us about those?
Yeah, so this one actually right here, I've no idea. It was on the car when I bought it. It looks to be factory Nissan. What it actually does, I'm still yet to work out. I've pulled out behind it. There's wires in there that don't go to anything, so if anyone knows what it is, feel free to tell me. As for this item here, this is just a, again, factory Nissan part. Nissan did some crazy things in the 90s, so it's just a little light. You can sort of move it around, whatever.
I think I've just worked out what it is.
Right.
So if you unscrew this, and then you can move that from there to there, and then the switch would go there, because that looks like it's the same size.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
It just might be.
Oh yeah, actually you might be right. Maybe you can put the light on there.
Yeah, so you could, you know,
yeah, well,
go camping or something. But you'd probably knock it off if it was up there.
Yeah, definitely.
It's in a much better spot in there. Let me know if we're right. I just, they kind of look very similar, those plates, so maybe that's what it is. Put in the sound system, that looks like it would pump pretty hard.
Yeah, it goes all right. So, I mean, I've always been a very big music person. It's always been a big part of my life. So every car I've ever owned, you know, never really had a stock or factory sound system. And the beauty with having the wagon is I can have a nice big sound system with my amps and my subs and my speakers and all that sort of stuff, and I can still put all my tools and my jack and my jack stands and everything in there if I'm working on the weekend.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I've had it about 12 months now, and I bought it originally because the plan's always been to own a GTR, but you know, the prices of those have sort of skyrocketed, you know, in the last 5 years or so, but especially the last, you know, 6 to 12 months especially, they've really seemed to have gone up a lot. So that was the idea behind it. But being a mechanic, you know, I've got to haul a lot of tools around most of the time, and just being able to have the wagon just makes it so much more practical. You know, I'd never be able to fit all that into a coupe. At the moment, it's pretty dead stock. Just got a catback and a Pexi intake kit.
How do you find the car as a daily driver?
The Stagea is awesome. Most of the time it flies under the radar, so I've never had any issues with police or anything like that. Daily driving it, it's awesome. It, you know, turns a few heads here and there. In terms of being comfortable, like before this I owned a V35 and this is much better to drive. I am generally pretty careful where I park it. I've got a fairly extensive list of stuff I want to do, not necessarily in terms of just getting the most power out of it that I can. For me, I want it to be as reliable as a 90s Nissan can be.
Yep. So
that's why I decided to go with a Autech plug and play, with pretty much as many sensors as I could cram on. So oil pressure, oil temp, fuel pressure, coolant temp, those sorts of things, so I can set up, you know, the correct engine protection and all that sort of stuff. So the turbos, I'm going to stick with low mounts, purely because I want to be able to pop the bonnet and see that, you know, engine looks, you know, pretty much stock. So going to have hypergear in Melbourne, high flow the turbos, with very similar to that of a Dash 5 Garrett turbo, so it'll be more than capable of, you know, between 300 and 350 kilowatts on ethanol, no worries. Also, you know, put a set of Tomei Pomcams 260s in just to give it a little bit more power up top, and I've also, you know, been made aware that they can also help with low down response as well. Off the line, being that it is a really heavy car, these weigh roughly 1700 odd kilos, so off the line's always a bit hard, but once you sort of get on boost, it really starts to take off.
Definitely. I miss that. God, I miss owning a all-wheel drive Nissan.
Yeah, it's definitely something special, that's for sure.
Oh, that noise brings back so many memories. Not bad.
Yeah, so the Stageas in stock form aren't overly low, but the 260 RS in particular have these, you know, quite large side skirts and you know, big front bar and lip and all that sort of stuff, and it makes them very lip low. And I'm pretty sure this just has some form of lowering spring in it, so it still rides like a dream, but has, you know, a medium lowering to it. So
Autech have played with the suspension and spring rates and things, you think, or?
I don't believe so. I believe it's the same as a Stagea RS4S or a 3030 GTR. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but Autech put the body kit on these, so you'll only, all the genuine 260 RSs have the full body kit, front bar, lip, the side skirts, the rear bar, the rear wing. That rear wing screams 90 Japanese styling.
Alright, first time driving a RB26 since September 2015 was the last time I drove an all-wheel drive Nissan, so watch me stall it. Wow, clutch is really high. Then again, I'm used to driving the button in the Civic.
It's got a button clutch.
Yeah, I bought the cheapest one off eBay, 200 bucks with a flywheel and everything straight in. Kind of, it feels like driving a GTT or a GTST.
Yeah,
like just
right
with the
here.
seats.
Yeah, they are very similar to that of GTT. I actually believe some of the factory manual RB25 model Stages may even share seats with a GTT.
Yeah, I think definitely they share a lot of parts. Like even some Nissan Navaras, they have the same door handles, same steering wheel.
It's cheap.
Everything like that. Yeah, just share it with the family. That's just me being really careful. By the time I get used to it, we'll be back home.
And you have to get used to the Civic again.
Oh, I stall the Civic almost daily.
Yeah.
Try not to ride the clutch.
Yeah.
God, I miss that. Just the torque from the straight six.
Yeah. It's
amazing.
something else.
Like you drive an RB20 powered car and it may as well be a 4-cylinder 1.6 Honda. There's just no torque, no power, but that extra 0.6 of a litre and just the way these drive is just so much more torque and so much more smoothness. God, I miss that.
Pretty sure it's 33 GTR wheel.
Yeah, it's a series 2 wheel. My 33 was a series 1 and it had the big fat horn. Yeah, it was really dopey. This is much nicer steering wheel.
Yeah, as you can see, it I haven't had a chance yet, but she needs a bit of a wheel alignment.
Oh, didn't notice. It drives straight, everything drives nice. Godzilla.
Yeah, it can be really scary because this thing will do almost 80 in first.
Yeah, third gear on Nissans is like the 1-to-1 ratio, magical gear. You can beat anyone and anything in third gear in a Nissan.
Well, because this has the R33 GTR box, yeah, I think it does something like 75, 80 Ks in first. Like, it's pretty impressive.
Damn.
So, by the time you're in second gear, you're already, you're already hoofing.
Hoofing, that's a good one. I've heard that. Melbourne is such like the car culture of like who owns what is...
It's crazy here, isn't it?
It's very diverse. In Sydney, they're all the same cars. Like it's Evos, GTRs, GTSTs, WRXs, Silvias, and like HSVs. Whereas you see everything here. Still not used to that clutch, but at least I'm not riding it. Stagea.
Put all the camera gear in the back, mate.
Yeah, it'd be a good camera car. Get me back into almost a GTR. It's very intoxicating, the RB26 feel and the sound. And
yeah, I can never get enough of it, mate. This was supposed to be just a weekend car. I have another car that I drive daily, but I find myself driving this fairly often, 3-4 times a week.
Yeah, any excuse to take it out.
Absolutely. Even if it's raining, that 4-wheel drive system, mate, like, it doesn't matter. It'll still grip up.
What do you think the best thing and what's the worst thing about owning a Stagea?
The best thing for me is always going to come back to the power, the ability for modification, and obviously for me the practicality of having a bigger car. The worst thing is when you pull up somewhere and people go, "What is that? Why are you driving a Camry wagon?"
Oh no.
Yeah, so I've had that once, and
a Camry wagon.
Yeah,
That is insulting.
That's what I thought. It's been mistaken for a Magna wagon, which is more believable than a Camry, but
slight upgrade.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but mine actually doesn't have the Autech sticker on the rear hatch.
Did you do that on purpose, or is that something that you want to replace?
I'm pretty sure the hatch has been resprayed in Japan, so they just didn't put the stickers back on.
Bad for a little nug.
Yeah.
So you actually own a EK Civic as well?
Yeah, a hatchback. That's my little daily driver.
And first impression, you've only been driving for 10 seconds?
I wanted to turbo my EK from the moment I bought it, and now I'm 100% convinced that it's a good idea.
Yeah. Turbos are always a good idea.
Absolutely. Turbo over NA any day of the week.
Now you know why I suck so much driving your car.
Pretty impressive for what it is.
Yeah, I can't wait to get it on the dyno. See what it makes, probably like 120.
Yeah, I reckon that's, yeah, definitely. I reckon easily 100 kilowatts.
Yeah, I would hope so. I'd hope it makes 100.
Oh, it's more than double what they make out of the factory.
Can't wait to get it on the track again. But yeah, it's a rough little nugget. That's what happens when you put...
Aren't they all?
Yeah. But you can't kill them.